Grandpappy told my pappy back in my day, son, a man had to answer for the wicked that he done. Take all the rope in Texas, find a tall oak tree, round up all of them bad boys, hang 'em high in the street, for all the people to see.
One of the most brutal murder stories in California's history is portrayed in Clint Eastwood's Changeling. The movie tells the true story about the Wineville chicken coop murders in Riverside County. The killer, Gordon Northcott, escapes to Canada, but is later convicted of murder in Los Angeles and hung. However, what the movie left out is exactly how he was brought back to the United States. Jack Brown, chairman and CEO of Stater Brothers, wrote about this compelling portion of the story in Our Badge, as a tribute to his father, San Bernardino County Deputy Sheriff Jack H. Brown. An expert investigator and unique tracker, Brown was asked to help another sheriff's department bring a notorious serial child murderer to justice in 1928.
But my father had been raised in Kingman, Arizona, and his playmates were Shoshone Indians. And they taught him how to track and how to hunt and how to look for things unusual. And he was a horseman and a rodeo rider and all those things. He was a cowboy.
A cowboy that took matters into his own hands when he learned Northcott had fled to Canada. So he got in his car and drove from California to Canada to bring the cocky killer to justice.
Where this fellow Northcott had been captured, he was so arrogant, said he'd never come back for trial, nobody'd ever get him. My father just decided to take him. Now my dad was 260 pounds. He was a little over 6 foot tall, but he always wore cowboy boots with a couple inches of heel, and he always wore a white Stetson that was about 6 inches on the crown. So he's almost 7 foot tall. So when he grabbed Northcott and punched out the back door of this little constabulary jail, threw him in the car and drove straight through for 2 days to get to Riverside. But my father always had a aversion to what they call wife beaters, and also people who abuse children.
Always the gentleman, Brown even sent money for the door he kicked in, but he remained a wanted man in Canada. 2 years later, he put Northcott in handcuffs and rode with him on a train to San Quentin to be hung.
We have the handcuffs that Northcott wore.
Jack Brown has kept all of his father's memorabilia after his death in 1946, including the diamond-studded gold badge bestowed on his father by the citizens of San Bernardino County on Christmas Eve, 1930.
But he was deputized as a special deputy in Riverside County to ensure that the evidence he found would be admitted in court. So even in those days, they had to set all the legal precedences to get. The only individual who was ever deputized to carry 2 badges at the same time. He was my hero. Everywhere we went, people wanted to talk to my father.
And a hero to the people in Wineville, California, a town so tarnished by the high-profile murder story, it was given a new name, Miraloma. Jack Brown would love to see his father's courageous life played out on the big screen.
I could see Clint Eastwood playing my father.
Maybe someday he will. After all, Hollywood always loves a sequel.